10 মে শনিবার লন্ডনের বার্কিংয়ের রিপল সেন্টারে যুক্তরাজ্যের সাংসদ, গ্রেটার লন্ডন অ্যাসেম্বলির সদস্য, বিভিন্ন কাউন্সিলর, মেয়র, কাউন্সিলর, বিভিন্ন সামাজিক ও ধর্মীয় সংগঠনের নেতৃবৃন্দ ও সমাজকর্মীগণের অংশগ্রহণের মধ্য দিয়ে হিন্দু সম্মেলন অনুষ্ঠিত হয়। সম্মেলনে ব্রিটেন ও বাংলাদেশের জাতীয় সঙ্গীত বাজিয়ে নিজ নিজ দেশের প্রতি সম্মান প্রদর্শন করা হয়। সর্বজন শ্রদ্ধেয় শ্রী গৌরপদ দেবের গীতা পাঠ ও উপস্থিত অতিথিদের অভিনন্দন জানানোর পর প্রদীপ প্রজ্বলনের মাধ্যমে সভাটি শুরু হয়। সংগঠনের স্টিয়ারিং কমিটির সর্বজ্যেষ্ঠ সদস্য, বিশিষ্ট চিকিৎসক ড সুনীল রায় তার উদ্বোধনী বক্তব্যে সংগঠনের আদর্শ, উদ্দেশ্য, বাংলাদেশ ও বিশ্বব্যাপী হিন্দুদের উপর নির্যাতনের বিষয়টি অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বের সাথে তুলে ধরেন। নীরবে সয়ে যাওয়া দীর্ঘকালব্যাপী নির্যাতন ও নিপীড়নের প্রতিবাদে সকলকে জেগে ওঠার আহ্বান জানান তিনি উপস্থিত রাজনৈতিক ও সামাজিক নেতৃবৃন্দকে এ কাজে সক্রিয়ভাবে এগিয়ে আসার অনুরোধ জানান। বার্কিং ও ডেগেনহামের সাংসদ মিস মার্গারেট মুলেন তার বক্তব্যে নিজ এলাকার হিন্দুদের অধিকার ও বিভিন্ন সমস্যা নিয়ে কাজ করে আসার কথা উল্লেখ করেন। বাংলাদেশের রাজনৈতিক অস্থিতিশীলতার কারণে হিন্দুদের মানবাধিকার লঙ্ঘনের উদ্বেগ প্রকাশ করেন তিনি। হিন্দুসহ সকল নাগরিকের মানবাধিকার রক্ষার স্বার্থে পাশে থাকার অঙ্গীকার ব্যক্ত করেন এবং মানবাধিকার নিশ্চিত করার বিষয়ে বাংলাদেশ সরকারের প্রতি জোরালো আহ্বান জানান।
The ongoing situation is not only felt by those living in Bangladesh, but also by many of my constituents who, whilst living in the UK where we honour religious freedoms, have relatives and friends that are living in constant fear. We've seen it throughout history, the world over, at times of instability, those seeking to divide communities for their own gain, and they take aim at minorities. We saw it 86 years ago when the world was engulfed by war, and we've seen it in this country as recently as last year following the tragic events in Southport which sparked the summer riots. Last month, targeted violence against Hindu communities was raised by Congress with the Modi government, quoting that in February and March there had been 76 reported attacks on Hindus in Bangladesh, leading to 23 deaths. The response to the student protests last year also resulted in outbreaks of targeted violence against Hindu communities, which was reported globally. My concern is that unless this is recognised at an international level, it will not be addressed and whole communities will continue to live in fear. This falls to other nations as much as it does to the Indian government to ensure, as our previous speaker before me said, that voices are heard. As a Member of Parliament, I will do what I can to shine a light on this situation. As a Labour Member of Parliament and a person of faith, I fundamentally believe that peace comes when all religions are acknowledged and respected, and when all people of faiths are granted religious freedoms within their communities. Religious persecution and oppression of any kind has no place in a 21st century world. I'll finish how I started, as I think it's very important. As the representative from Dagenham and Rainham, I am here and I'm here to listen. Thank you.
ইলফুট সাউথের সাংসদ মিস্টার জিয়াস আতওয়াল তার বক্তব্যে ব্রিটিশ পার্লামেন্টে বাংলাদেশের হিন্দু ও অন্যান্য সংখ্যালঘুদের উপর নির্যাতনের বিষয়ে বক্তব্য রাখার কথা উল্লেখ করেন। তিনি ব্রিটিশ পররাষ্ট্র সচিব ডেভিড লামিকে এই বিষয়ে সরকারের পক্ষ থেকে ব্যবস্থা নেওয়ার জন্য অনুরোধ জানিয়েছেন বলে জানান। আগামী দিনগুলোতে হিন্দুদের অধিকার আদায়ে সবসময় হিন্দুদের পাশে থাকার প্রতিশ্রুতি দেন তিনি।
Namely representing Hindu communities, fostering community cohesion, and advocating for fundamental right of freedom of religion. The UK's relationship with its Hindu communities is deep and long-standing. Just a few days ago, in VE Day, Victory in Europe Day, I spoke in Parliament about the invaluable contribution of Hindu soldiers who served in our armed forces and helped Britain win the Second World War. They actually helped win the First World War as well. You know, those brave soldiers who came to an alien land to fight in a war that wasn't theirs, in a quarrel that didn't concern them, but they came here shoulder to shoulder to to make sure that we were there for the freedom of the world. These ties are built on our shared values, hard work, mutual respect, and tolerance of those from all faiths. It is these values that makes places like Ilford and Barking so special in our communities. People of many religions, races and cultures don't just live side by side. They work together, support one another and build stronger neighbourhoods. But as we're all too aware, these values of tolerance and mutual respect are under threat around the world. I know many of us here are particularly concerned about the disturbing rise in the violence and discrimination, as was shown in the slides and on the videos, against the Hindus in Bangladesh. Since August last year, over 2,000 instances of violence have been reported, mostly targeting Hindu communities. And we've seen reports of homes burned, businesses looted, and mob attacks taking place. ISKCON leader Chinmoy Krishna Das still remains in custody, despite the High Court's ruling for him to be released on bail. These are sickening developments that threaten to violate basic human rights. I know that my Hindu friends and neighbours in Ilford South share my concerns. Since becoming MP, I've spoken to many of the Hindu constituents and local leaders. They've told me about the family members facing persecution, campaigners being detained, and loved ones being treated like second-class citizens. We cannot be silent. We must always stand up against religious violence and intolerance wherever it occurs. Earlier this year, as you will have seen on the video, I raised these concerns in Parliament and will continue to work with colleagues in the Foreign Office, including David Lammy and Hamish Faulkner, who I meet regularly to discuss the violence in Bangladesh, to ensure the UK government takes the issue seriously. Tolerance is the foundation of our society. It's what allows our communities to flourish. In East London, in Bangladesh and across the world, we cannot allow that foundation to be undermined. We must continue to stand together, speak out and fight for peace, justice and freedom. Thank you again for having me here today. Thank you.
গ্রেটার লন্ডন অ্যাসেম্বলির সদস্য মিস্টার উমেশ দেশাই বাংলাদেশের হিন্দুদের মানবাধিকার লঙ্ঘন ও নানা রকম নিপীড়নে উদ্বেগ প্রকাশ করেন। তিনি বাংলাদেশ সরকারের কাছে হিন্দু অন্যান্য সংখ্যালঘু জনগোষ্ঠীর মানবাধিকার, জীবনের নিরাপত্তা ও শান্তিপূর্ণ সহাবস্থান নিশ্চিত করার জোর দাবি জানান।
Earlier, MP Athwal, Margaret Mullen, the mayor of the council, Councillor Moin Qadri, I've already said what I was going to say. So my observations are basically going to be around what we can do practically. But can I just say that today I went to Welland's Museum to mark Victory in Europe Day. And if you have the chance, go into the museum. Gandhiji was in Noakhali when the rioting in 1947 was going on. He was not in Delhi celebrating independence with the members of the Constituent Assembly. He was there trying to calm the communal violence. He came to this country in 1938, went to Welland's House Museum in Dagenham, and he left behind his spinning wheel, which is still there today. So I found that actually quite moving. And I must say the presentation today, I found that also very moving. It just shows you the work that we have to do. A lot of work is already being done, and I think events like today is important. I think one of the questions was, are we just talking? We are not. Right? I think organizing together, coming together, putting our voice in the political agenda is so important, and that is what the organizers of this meeting have been doing. And I'll do everything I can from the London Assembly to support that work. I think it's important as well to get all the political parties united. I'm a Labour Party politician, very proud of that, but I think it's important to involve the Lib Dems, the Conservatives, everyone who's prepared to speak up for what's going on in Bangladesh today. And so I've seen in this report the amount of work that the committee has already done, meeting people like my MP Stephen Timms. I'm his constituency agent, election agent for the last 29 years, but also Bob Blackman, who happens to be a Conservative MP. I think that is so important, because the people who are suffering in Bangladesh today, They cannot afford party political differences in this country. They need the support of all democratically elected politicians. So I welcome your attempts to work with everyone. And I know that David Lammy and Catherine West, who's the minister in charge of that part of the world, already have expressed concerns about what's going on in Bangladesh. Human rights, minority rights have got to be upheld all around the world. And you can't just sort of ignore human rights abuses in one country and speak about human rights abuses in another country. Back last, when was it? April, last month, I was part of a parliamentary delegation to Syria and Iraq. And in Syria in particular, ISIS is still there. And there have been many attacks on Christian churches. And it was so good to see that part of Syria. It's called the Autonomous Area of North and East Syria, which is a quarter of Syria. Different communities coming together to work as a government and also bringing different community groups, faith groups together. So very, very inspiring. I personally have been to Bangladesh twice. I was going to go late last year, but because of what happened, I had to cancel the visit. And as I said in a television interview with 18 Bangla, the future of Bangladesh will be decided by the people of Bangladesh. But it's important as well that democratic rights, values that we hold dear, are also upheld. And I do know, speaking to so many British Bangladeshis of all backgrounds, all faith groups, that they're extremely worried about the influence of people like the Jamaat Islamis, who got a clear agenda to change the secular nature of the country, and also many people, Western observers and others, and also British Bangladeshi secular politicians are worried about attempts to turn Bangladesh into another Afghanistan, and what the Talibanization of Afghanistan has done to the rights of women and minorities and other people in that country. So our job here is to use our job of people like myself is to use my platform at the London Assembly to do what I can to highlight the plight of minorities. And I'm glad the program refers also to all minorities in Bangladesh. And it's a practical program. I've looked at the mission statement, can't disagree with anything. On page 8, you outlined, quite appropriately named page 8, because there are 8 demands that you're asking for, and that they're all on page 8. And again, can't say anything wrong there. So for me, this program is actually about, the way forward. And as I say, I'll do everything I can to support you from the London Assembly. I wish you all well. 2 of my councillor colleagues from Barking Dagenham Council are still here, Ajanta and Michael. And it shows that we do, care. And the attendance of Jazz and Margaret Mullen, both of whom have had a very busy day. I was with Margaret earlier at the museum, Wellens House Museum, celebrating Victory in Europe Day. And she still found time to come here and sat for over an hour and made a speech. So that just shows that she does care as well. So thanks again.
পার্কিং ও ডেগেনহামের কাউন্সিলর মেয়র মিস্টার মোইন কাদরি বাংলাদেশের হিন্দুদের উপর নির্যাতন বন্ধে অন্তর্বর্তী সরকারের ব্যর্থতার হতাশা ব্যক্ত করেন। নিজের কাউন্সিল এলাকায় হিন্দুদের সাথে অত্যন্ত সৌহার্দ্যপূর্ণ সম্পর্কের কথা উল্লেখ করে তাদের যে কোনো সমস্যায় পাশে থাকার অঙ্গীকার করেন তিনি। এই আয়োজনে বাংলাদেশি হিন্দু নির্যাতনের ঘটনাসমূহের বিস্তারিত তথ্যপত্র ডিজিটাল ডিসপ্লের মাধ্যমে তুলে ধরার জন্য আয়োজকদের সাধুবাদ ও প্রশংসা জানান বক্তারা।
Redbridge rightfully mentioned that we are the true advocate of humanity, we are the true advocate of peace and justice. At no cost, we do want that anybody could be discriminated, not treated equally, and at the home of Great Britain we have no place for any discrimination at any shape or form. My friends, you saw on the presentation that we was the backbone when Bangladesh born in 1971, and we all know that the 4 fundamental pillars of Bangladesh, and which one of them was secularity. My question to the leaders around the globe, where is secular Bangladesh right now? Where is our peace and justice? As a person, I believe if you fail to respect ourselves, if you fail to dignify those they contribute positively, we will fail as a nation. At the moment of time, the tolerance level as a human being in the land of Bangladesh is outrageous. Unlawful killing, the burning houses, especially for the ethnic minority, it is unacceptable at any shape or form. My personal solidarity with those they are suffering every day. Let's unified, let's stand together, let's fight those they're trying to put us down. My support and solidarity is towards your movement, and my support and solidarity will continue. Thank you for inviting me and wish you all the very good of luck.
উল্লেখ্য অনুষ্ঠানে প্রথম ভাগে বাংলাদেশের হিন্দুদের মানবাধিকার লঙ্ঘন, ধর্ষণ, লুটপাট, অগ্নিসংযোগ, ভূমি দখল, দেশত্যাগে বাধ্যকরণ ও জোরপূর্বক ধর্মান্তকরণ ইত্যাদি ঘটনার উপর 1947 সাল থেকে 2025 সাল পর্যন্ত সহিংসতার একটি সচিত্র প্রতিবেদন স্লাইডের মাধ্যমে প্রদর্শন করা হয়। প্রতিবেদনে দৃশ্যমান কিছু সহিংসতা, ধর্ষণের ঘটনা উপস্থিত দর্শকদের ভীষণভাবে আবেগ আপ্লুত করে তোলে। অনুষ্ঠানে উপস্থিত দর্শকদের জন্য একটি উন্মুক্ত প্রশ্নোত্তর পর্বে অংশ নেন মিস্টার হারাধন ভৌমিক, মিস্টার সমীর দাস এবং মিস্টার বিক্রম ব্যানার্জি। তারা দর্শকদের বিভিন্ন প্রশ্নের জবাব দেন। সংগঠনের পক্ষ থেকে সকল সাংসদ, মেয়র, কাউন্সিলর ও সামাজিক নেতৃবৃন্দকে উত্তরীয় পরিয়ে সম্মানিত করা হয়। প্রথমবারের মতো ব্রিটেনের মাটিতে হিন্দুদের এই সম্মেলন আয়োজনে সংগঠনের যে নেতৃবৃন্দ অক্লান্ত পরিশ্রম করেন তাদের মধ্যে শ্রী গৌরপদ দেব, ডক্টর সুনীল রায়, হারাধন ভৌমিক, অমিতোষ মজুমদার, বিশ্বজিৎ বল, স্বরূপ শ্যাম চৌধুরী, শিপন বর্মন, সুরঞ্জিত গুপ্ত, গৌতম সাহা এবং সঞ্চিত দাসের নাম উল্লেখযোগ্য। অনুষ্ঠানে উপস্থিত সকলকে ধন্যবাদ এবং সম্মেলন আয়োজনে স্টিয়ারিং কমিটি এবং সংগঠনের সাধারণ সদস্যদের প্রতি কৃতজ্ঞতা জানিয়ে স্টিয়ারিং কমিটির সদস্য মিস্টার গৌতম সাহা অনুষ্ঠানের সমাপ্তি ঘোষণা করেন।
I, on behalf of the organization, would like to welcome all of you, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, our honorable MPs, councillors, community leaders, and dear friends. It's a wonderful opportunity for us to be here. Why we are here is a good reason to be here. Just to highlight on recent days what's happened, that some of you are already aware of the fact that there is violation of human rights happening against Hindus. In fact, it's not only happening now, it has been going on for decades.